Inspiration for the future. Egypt is packed with numerous fascinating landmarks that distinguish every era. Landmarks like the palaces, whose designs make them unmatched architectural gems and whose walls are pieces of history. Those gems include Abdeen Palace. The story of Abdeen Palace started in 1863 when Khedive Ismail contacted Suez to purchase the land to build his palace. Khedive Ismail launched the construction process by signing two French architects, two designers, Léon Rousseau and Decorel. The construction itself took 10 years and was finished in 1873. 6 consecutive rulers of Egypt lived in the palace, starting from Khedive Ismail to King Farouk I, the last of Muhammad Ali's descendants. The overall area of the land is approximately 25 acres. The palace takes up 5 acres, and the remaining 20 are dedicated to gardens teeming with rare trees and plants. One of the oldest and most important trees in the garden is a Bengal fig tree. Two spots in the garden are of exquisite charm, both built in the early years of King Farouk's region. The first is the tea kiosk and the second is the music kiosk that overlooks the pool. Near them, the Paris Gate stands, which is one of the most famous and most important parts of the palace. Abdeen Palace comprises 550 rooms and halls, divided between the Salamlik, the king's quarters, and the place where official meetings were held, and the Haremlik, the royal family quarters. Once we enter through the main gate, we are taken back in time to a nostalgic era of art, elegance, and sophistication. Even the minutest details point out the grandeur of the era in which the palace was built. The main lobby is adorned by the coat of arms of Kingdom of Egypt, some antique, classical statues, and many marble columns that are all over the place. At the end of the lobby, the mirror staircase leads up to the second floor. At its center stands a statue of Queen Margherita of Italy. The staircase leads to Suez Canal lobby. It is one of the oldest and most remarkable halls in the palace. It includes splendid historical paintings of the inauguration of the Suez Canal, among which are 2 paintings by Edward Rio. Khedive Ismail chose François Link, the most renowned French furniture designer, to design many of the unique pieces we will see in our tour. including the tremendous King's Desk and its 5-leg chair, currently at display in the Suez Canal Hall. As for Napoleon's clock, it was a gift from Empress Eugenie to Khedive Ismail at the inauguration of Suez Canal. We now move to the Hall of Scholars, where the king used to meet scholars as a sign of his appreciation. We will now pass through the 4 sitting rooms of Abdeen Palace, named after the colors of their walls. The first one is the green sitting room. Like the other 3, it has a marble fireplace topped by a French clock. In the corridor separating the red and green sitting rooms, there is a magnificent, ornate and colorful service vase. The drawing on its surface shows the beginning of a fight between a married couple. The end to that fight appears on another vase in a different hall. We now move on to the red sitting room, one of the most important sitting rooms in the palace, where the king's guests used to wait for His Majesty. Here we can find another masterpiece by Francois Link, a micro-mosaic showing the Vatican and Italian landmarks. Moving on to the blue sitting room, we can still see the same fireplace, clock, and 2 candelabra. The official meeting hall witnessed countless heated events. At its center is its most important pieces of furniture, an oval table surrounded by 22 chairs. Visitors of the Winter Garden feel as if they are standing in a masterfully designed piece of art. It is teeming with some of the rarest and most charming flowers and plants. The light rays streaming through the glass ceiling add a rich splendor to the garden, which was King Fuad's I favorite spot during the winter. Now we are entering one of the largest and most significant halls of Abdeen Palace. The Muhammad Ali Hall, named after Muhammad Ali Pasha, who's often described as the founder of modern Egypt. The hall was received special care and it is furnished with rare pieces of Louis XVI furniture coupled with a painting by French Orientalist painter Charles Theodore Ferrer titled Clearing the Sands of the Sphinx. Here we can see the second Sevres vase with an identical design to the one we saw earlier, showing the happy ending to the fight between the married couple. We now leave the Muhammad Ali Hall and head to the main dining hall. This is the first hall in our tour with an Arabesque style and Islamic furniture and ornaments. Most of the items here were crafted during the reign of Khedive Abbas Helmi II. On the walls, there are inscriptions of Arabic maxims. One of the profound ones reads, "I have seen all virtues, none were more sublime than mercy." It is in this hall that many weddings of royal family were held. Meetings with kings and rulers of Europe and the world were held here. Not to mention countless official visits, Ramadan iftar feasts, and so on. visitors of the next location were often left speechless as melodies, songs, and sweet lyrics gently found their way to their ears. This is the Abdeen Palace Theatre, where Kulthum used to host her major concerts. These gilded chairs, designed by Francois Link, were often occupied by VIP guests. Queen Nazli and princesses of royal family came here to enjoy such pleasurable concerts. Leaving the theatre, we enter the white sitting room, the major sitting room in the palace. This is where the most influential figures in the world were escorted to before their meetings with the king. The walls are covered with Persian carpets. This room contains a rare piece of furniture whose only replica can be found in the Palace of Versailles. On top of it is a Sèvres vase showing one of Napoleon's battles. There is also a Goblin's tapestry which dates back to the 18th century and whose restoration process lasted for 10 years. The white sitting room is so significant because it is adjacent to the most important hall in the Abdeen Palace, namely the throne room. Which was built by order of King Fuad I to serve as the coronation room for future kings. Italian artist Verrucci exhibited admirable craftsmanship even in the minutest details in the throne hall, including the gilded wooden roof, the chandeliers, which were specially made in Italy to fit the Islamic style of the room, the rare Sèvres vase with its movable, quack-proof base, among other antiques. At the other end of the hall, we can see the throne, surrounded by the ministers' chairs. On one side, there is the chair of Mohammed Said Pasha, who ruled Egypt before Khedive Ismail, and on the other, there is the chair of Queen Nazli. From the throne room, we enter the long hunting corridor where paintings related to hunting are showcased. This long corridor leads to the oldest and most historically significant sitting room in Abdeen Palace, the Khedive Ismail sitting room. This sitting room, filled with priceless antiques, witnessed the wedding parties of some of the Khedive's children. This marks the end of the Salam Lecture. We can now start our tour around the rooms and wings of the second part of the Abdeen Palace, called the Harem. It is separated from the Salam by a long corridor decorated by gal vases, the most valuable possessions of King Farouk I. Here we can also see a cabinet designed by Francois Link to store gramophone discs. At the end of the corridor, the solemnity of the Harem fills our souls with awe. We are at the Queen Nazli wing, conceived by the renowned designer Verrucci, by order of King Fuad I. It is here that King Farouk was born in 1920. Every wing in the Harem consists of 4 sections: a bedroom, a dressing room, a royal bathroom, and a reception room. From the Queen Mother's wing, we move on to the Byzantine hall. The magnum opus of Verrucci that ranked first among the most dazzling halls worldwide Every corner is a masterpiece, perfectly crafted by Verrucci himself. The design is inspired by 3 different art styles: Byzantine art in the drawing on the walls and furniture, Coptic art in some icons, and Islamic art in the columns. We can almost hear the water flowing down to wash the fruits before being served to the royal family. There are chairs with ostrich feather covers and a Byzantine-style table for card games. Drawings of animals are visible around the room. Some say they were added to exorcise evil spirits. From the Byzantine hall, we head to the Belgian wing, so called because the King of Belgium was the first person to stay there. There is a rare disc in this hall with 17 secret drawers. Here we are in the wing of Queen Farida, King Farouk's first wife. After their divorce, Queen Nariman, the second wife, moved in here. On one of the walls, a photo of Queen Nariman in her wedding gown is still exhibited. As for King Farouk's wing, its 4 rooms are designed in a simple modern style. Here, in the private dining room, all the members of the royal family used to meet at fixed times. On the ceiling, we can see the initials of Khedive Ismail, King Fuad I. Our tour in the palace has come to an end. We should leverage this glorious past to fuel our leap into a future with wider horizons, one that would enable us to write new chapters, to achieve new breakthroughs, to realize our dreams, to establish a promising future for modern Egypt. Abdeen Palace, a gem of history and an inspiration for the future.